So, welcome to Manchester, New Hampshire, where one of the newest and also one of the worst college football teams in America lives. The New Hampshire Nitro, fresh off a massive investment from Under Armour and local businessman Steve Husky Jones. They are looking to build a football powerhouse in one of the toughest places to build in the land. Now, unfortunately, the team was so bad that they have since decided to all quit off the back of a winless season. They've all decided that football isn't for them, leaving new coach Dupp to rebuild the roster from scratch. We'll be starting the season with only 35 players, and the recruiting mantra of the team is to only recruit players who actually want to be here. So we will need players who have the Nitro as one of their top options, and the restrictions on recruiting will be that as a one-star team, we are only able to recruit players who have the Nitro as their number one option, and the scope in which we can recruit will get greater after each star prestige we gain. So, off the back of our recruitment, we do have a few star players that we can look into. First of all is quarterback out of Connecticut, Slade Etheridge. Now, we had to work hard to make sure Connecticut didn't bring him in. Now, Slade has got a good arm. He's got some solid accuracy on his short to intermediate throws, and he is quite tough. However, his decision making can be quite rash, and his deep ball accuracy is quite inconsistent. If we can build around him, he could be a solid quarterback for the years to come, but that is very dependent on the talent around him. Now, as a former quarterback and former wide receiver, Coach Dupp will have an affinity for both of these positions, and something true of a lot of coaches is that they recruit what they were. And Coach Dupp was a big body wide receiver, and he loved his 50-50 balls, and that is what he's going to be looking for. And he's very lucky to see Terence Rabe actually walk on, and he is a big athletic body who loves those spectacular catches, those 50-50 balls, and getting beyond the defence. Now, Terence actually walked on as he was looking to escape some turbulent times in Alabama, and thought the best thing for him would be to go far away and focus on his football, as we see one of the contested catches that he thrives in. So we are hopeful that Terence will love it here so much that he'll stay. However, there is the possibility that he leaves at the end of the season to become closer to home. But fingers crossed, we will find a way to keep him. On to the rest of our players now. We have Nick King-Tut, our wide receiver convert, who will be doing a job at running back for at least the first season. Zach Scotland Williamson, ironically a converted running back, who is going to be our main edge rusher. Glenn Aviles, who is going to be our starting cornerback, has a lot of speed but needs to develop. And Caleb Ramsaw is going to be our punter. He is going to be the busiest punter in all of America, I expect. So our fixtures for the season will be opening in our rivalry game to the Black Mountain of Maine before we host Temple at the Oxide Station and the Sharks. We then visit Buffalo before we have our first bye week. We'll be then going to host Northwestern and then Bowling Green. Hopefully we'll be able to get some results there prior to our trip to the Naval Academy, where we'll face the option opponents before we have yet another bye week before we host the Zips, and then another bye week. We will then be hosting Kent State, the other part of that Ohio section, before we visit Jackson State, and then a trip to Army before finally finishing our season at home to Connecticut. We're looking forward to the journey, and we hope you are too.